Everyone, and welcome. You have to apologise, a bit of a raspy voice here from yours truly, but we are live for our stream on the 24th of September 2019. Joining me to my left, Mod JD, and to my right, Mod.
Hello.
So, before we get into it, first of all, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's that RuneFest lead-in thing.
Busy week, yeah.
Yeah, I decided to take on 4 RuneFest sessions just to kind of catch them all. Got to have them all.
Yeah, and I'm looking after the whole schedule, so I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, we're gonna obviously dive into RuneFest and other stuff as well from the stream, but you know, let's get into it. Obviously, in the last couple of weeks, we've had an increase of posts in relation to MTX, and we have seen them. We've been monitoring, sending so much feedback around the office. It's insane. But I think without further ado, what do we have to say?
So. So first of all, we had a decision about what to do about this live stream, and I think we were all kind of unanimous that we wanted to do it. We wanted it to be focused on content. So we've just released Slayer Log. We've got Bank Placeholders and improvements coming next week.
Yep,
It's 100%.
we can confirm that as
we
well.
can confirm it, 100% coming next week. So we've got good content coming out and just come out. Like Slayer Log, a big fan of. We'll talk about it in a bit. Obviously, we've got some things that we can reveal about RuneFest, and also RuneFest itself has some kind of proper hype announcements as well. So, I mean, we could have talked. You know, I feel like we could have cancelled this. We could have not had this live stream. But I feel like there's so much good feedback that comes through the transparency of showing our updates, improvements that we can make to, you know, kind of Bank Placeholders and some of the other things that are upcoming, that I don't want to just shut up shop there. But on the topic of how and when we talk about a lot of things, it's not just MTX. It's about kind of the content, like updates not being there, not to everybody's kind of expectation in terms of the cadence of stuff that we've been launching. Yeah, MTX stuff as well. So what we're doing at the moment is, you know, like the memes are saying, we're in lots of meeting rooms discussing it, like discussing what we want to do. And the things that we don't want to do is we don't want to just make an empty statement. We don't want that to happen.
So, I mean, just a quick step back, obviously, in the past, when we've reactively said something, I think in retrospect we've said something and we haven't really fleshed it out. That's come to bite us, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of that's come from the kind of the knee-jerk state, kind of reaction, the way that we've just put a statement out. Like this time round, we don't want it to be an empty fluff. We want to have some, don't want it to just be a statement. We want to have some kind of actions in there, some things that we are doing and have done. The problem with when you get into the realm of like what actions you want to make is those aren't quick. That means you've got multiple kind of disciplines, all different teams. We've got to get sign-off from multiple people. Everybody's got to be in agreement with it. And really, we've got to make the best and most complete decisions and actions, So we just need a little bit more time. So we're working on that at the moment. That's going to come out very soon. But for now, this live stream is about the content. In particular, just in terms of what kind of my realm. My realm is episodic content, product owner for the episodic content team. We are making some key teams, the staff, the teams, and how we make content to make sure this doesn't happen again, this lack of updates at the moment. But to be honest, the team themselves don't know yet. We need to get that signed off, so I need to let the team know, and then we can come out to you in the very near future, because we want RuneFest to be about celebration of the content we're making, really, rather than something else having a shadow over it or whatever. So yeah, let's talk about the updates, because it's all important to get them transparent too.
So obviously I know giving dates is iffy in that regard, but I feel like based on what we've just talked about, I feel like there needs to be emphasis of when are we looking to talk about stuff.
I know that's going to be super frustrating that we're not giving the exact date, but there's so many hoops we have to jump through. As I said, like my personal desire is I would want to go to RuneFest with kind of everybody knowing what's what. But we can't make any promises towards dates as current. But we don't want we don't want this situation to continue for much longer.
Okay, cool.
You know, or either state.
Cool. Okay. Focus on. Okay, let's go on to the Slayer collection log, or abbreviated the slog, as I've been reliably informed.
Don't know if that's a positive acronym or not.
Yeah, slog, Slayer log. I don't know. Anyway, released yesterday, and there's obviously, as you mentioned about the cadence, it was the first new update in 11 weeks.
Yeah.
So if we can, if possible, can we dive into why it's taken this long?
Oh yeah, happy to.
Get this?
Yeah, when we communicate out, we'll probably dive into it a bit more.
Yeah.
But we had a summer period that was looking quite sexy. I was quite chuffed with it. You know, we start with Complicate rework. that gives new achievements to chase, going to land out of time, which, to be fair, is like 3 chunky, maybe 4 chunky updates in one. Then out the back of that, we had Bank Placeholders, probably the most wanted update from the past 2 annual surveys, past couple of years. Weapon diversity, which gives new things to chase. And we also had a quest in that time as well. A quest update, and that was takes us up to the end of August. As a slate for 2.5 months, 3 months, on the face of it, that's really good. But then it's just how we handled that and what came out of it. Because a lot of what we did was we did a lot of transparency on designs. We did a lot of beta work. And
we had weapon diversity. That was going to be one of the updates, for example.
Weapon diversity suddenly kind of doubled in updates, and that's our fault. That's my fault. We thought that we could bring out one batch, do the core weapons, and then do another one in the future. Obviously, the feedback came back that wasn't the thing to do. Probably should have learned from the batching conversations that happened previously. But then also, they weren't utility benefits, they were just DPS benefits, and I wasn't diversifying them enough. So then, following that through, the amount of work to do with players, but also to double the size of the update and then, do all the QA work to go with that. This body of work then just went out the window. Bank Placeholders had a number of betas because we need to get that right. This is people's banks. This is their save games. So that has to be right. I don't think we anticipated how many betas we need to get that right. And obviously, Complicate Rework, while it did come down in size, the amount of kind of community involvement and stuff like that, and to be honest, the largest chunk of work had to be done, like the detaching of passive perks and that kind of thing. That was the largest batch of work, and it was done for the shortened version, even though we didn't do the bigger. So ultimately, all of these things, I don't regret beta testing them. I don't regret showcasing them, but I do regret that we didn't quite get the designs right first time, and we need to improve that. I do regret that we didn't have some contingency updates, which is what I want to talk about next week, how we can slip something in, as it were, to replace that. And I also, it's just ultimately it's led to a point where you haven't got many updates, and that's a real shame.
So for next week, just to confirm, so we're looking to do a stream next week. Do we know specifically what we want to focus on?
We can't commit to anything. So when I say next week, I'm thinking about myself writing this, or doing this thing. Sorry, I shouldn't really give a week or time frame at all. Please keep an eye on what we're doing. We're going to try to get it done as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get things signed off.
Yeah.
Cool. And there's a couple, quick mention. Some stats regarding the Slayer log I'm going to read out that were sent over to us from our ADS team. So actually 1/3 of our players actually all collected the Slayer log on day 0, i.e. the release, which is pretty awesome. At the time of midnight, we saw 54 Slayer log titles were unlocked. And Keldagrim's title had 40 of the 54. So
that's obviously the one to chase.
The Keldagrim title, most popular. I think it has the least volume on there, so that kind of makes sense. And also we saw 3 times as many Slayer logs collected on the first day compared to the Treasure Trails log, which...
a big part of that will be the kind of prompt, the pop-up.
Yeah, better onboarding.
The one that's been joked about various channels. We have seen that one. That's a good one. Thanks.
And then, as I mentioned as well, a quick little FYI for you if you don't know this. If you have the Slayer counter or the Reaper counter, if you right-click that icon, you can actually get to your collection log via that way as well. You don't actually have to have the item on you anymore. You can actually get to it via the counter as well, which is a cool little FYI for you if you didn't know that as well. Should probably include that in the news post. That's my bad. But yeah, it's really cool to have.
Yeah, and we're really so one of the things that we've highlighted that we want to do. We can see if we can grab it as a smaller project. Is how to consolidate all of the collection logs into one item or one location. So it's really super quick to.
Because right now we have 3. We have Clue, Slayer, and
there may be more coming in a future announcement at RuneFest.
Well, actually, we have Player on Farms 4, technically.
Yeah, exactly. So there's quite a chunk. And it's the same kind of thing. So why can't we
sorry. Did you just say more? Sorry, I've only just caught up on what you said. Did you just say?
Yeah, just because it's connected to something far bigger, which which we'll be announcing at RuneFest.
Ooh, teaser.
Damn, okay.
It's not much of an announcement, to be fair, but you get the idea. I just want to also say thank you to all of the feedback. I think the vast proportion was added in, things like changing the Feldip title to something a lot more in line with the Ascended. There were so many things that were added. I think almost 50% of the drops were added due to feedback. It was really good. So thank you so much for your stuff. Yeah,
we added a lot from there, which is great. You obviously mentioned it towards the start of the stream with a confirmed release date of the 30th of September.
Yes.
We now see, after, 3 years gone.
Ruby Roo. Shane. Love it.
3 years gone by.
He's finally done it.
Ever since the infamous RuneFest 2016, we now have, of course, finally, in my opinion, Bank Placeholders.
Yeah. It's almost a shame that, I can understand how we got there, but it's almost a shame that It's almost just a done thing. Oh yeah, Bank Placeholders just out. Yeah, but we've got to remember that this was something that was wanted for a while. We just took a while to get there. But yeah, we did.
I feel like it's worth taking a step back at the story. Because originally, like
this is fun.
Like we had
unexpected.
I mean, I think it's worth.
Unexpected contention.
I think it's worth it. Like we announced it as Bank Rework back in 2016, RuneFest, and then mid 2017, if I recall, it was stopped because of investigations, and then it was kind of just died off, and then. There was a post about it being, at the time, shelved.
The infamous shelf.
The infamous shelf post in December of last year, if I recall.
Which we decided to do, I think, the day of our Christmas party.
Yes.
So we put that out there and then went on a Christmas party. You can imagine the running around corridors. Yeah.
Just look at the smile. Look at the smile on my face.
We also went somewhere on the Christmas party where there was no phone signal either.
Yeah, I didn't. And I saw the brunt of that one.
Yeah.
And then at the time, of course, we did a quick follow-up post because it was worth clarifying. There was a prototype at the time that Mod Hunter commented on. And then, we finally got to announce it in May of this year, which felt amazing, I must say. And then
it's like the worst soap opera ever.
But it's going up now. We're going up and up and up.
We're there.
We did our first beta in July, and then second one, of course, ongoing right now. And from it all, we're now happy to confirm it's going on the 30th.
Yeah, I mean, so many thank yous to Mod Hunter and our tech teams for getting it done, that kind of thing. I think a couple of points on that timeline, the first time around, I think we're absolutely right to talk to the community about it, because at that time we had planned for it, we had developers on it. The alternative would be to develop it quietly without telling the community, which I think would be absolutely wrong for something like Bank Rework.
Oh, something that everyone uses.
Exactly. So of course we went transparent, and then things happened. The two biggest things being kind of a significant engine job that was needed to get it done, because our initial implementation was so big, and we found a better way of doing it later on. But obviously then also engine and platform, there were so many other priorities that came in among them, mobile. So, but now, at the start of this year, we realised we could do placeholders. I think that was it.
Well, if I recall, you did a poll where you literally said if the one thing what's the most important thing for this update?
Yeah.
You assumed, and rightfully so, it was placeholders.
But I was scared.
You wanted to see how much players wanted placeholders.
I think the thing that I had in the back of my mind was I don't know if you remember, I think it was mining smithing rework, was it? Yeah.
In regards
when we polled whether or not you would be happy with a smaller implementation of the mining and smithing rework.
That's correct.
Just the top level stuff. And obviously there was the reaction, old schoolers jumped onto the poll to make sure it didn't pass and all this stuff, which is absolutely right, because it was the wrong implementation for that project. So I had a whiff of that, had the same whiff that I had with Bank Placeholders. Is it right to separate placeholders from the rework? But it turns out that actually, yes, that's what people wanted, and it's certainly if it meant we get it in your hands early.
Yeah.
So I do want to mention, obviously, the stream title does say Q&A. I have got questions at the bottom here that we'll get to. So we'll have a little section towards the end where I will literally, grab the questions that have been asked on Reddit and so on that I'll try and get answered from there. So we're kind of smashing out the top level stuff, as it were, and then we'll jump into the questions, because it does say Q&A.
And please do submit them. Submit those questions, we'll get on.
And keep submitting them in there as well. And I'm hoping Mod Nico's around, he can pop them in as well, and I'll try and catch them where I can. Anyway, you may have noticed, if you're on Reddit, anyway, I'm not sure if it was posted anywhere else, it probably was, for about 10 seconds on Monday, about
special teaser.
There was a news post that went out, which was the patch notes for the 30th, which directly confirmed that the Bank placeholder update was on the 30th. There are a lot of patch notes, so some of you may have seen them. There were also GIFs and images that kind of were showing the big updates, as it were, for this. So we thought we'd take this opportunity just to show you a couple of GIFs, and I'll try and take you through and explain exactly what's going on. So if the GIF quality isn't great, you can blame me for that. If the explanation quality isn't great, you can also blame me for that.
Yeah.
So
we do have one of our internal instant messengers where we have a tally of #blame Shawnee, #praise Shawnee. And what's it currently at?
It sways one way. Try and guess which one. So all right, let's do it. So can we bring up some GIFs and images, whatever they may be? Okay, cool. So if you've not seen already, this is the revamped bank, as it were, and you may already notice I've been able to drag my bank width-wise, so it's a lot more wider. You can also drag it height-wise as well.
Is this your old 2016 one?
This is my current bank.
No, this is your
my
current
2016
bank.
bank only just
you were
sorted
fiddling with your old bank earlier.
Yeah, this is my current bank.
We did want to propose a stream to everybody where we ask the Twitch chat to clean up Shawnee's bank for him.
Twitch plays
Shawnee's bank. So if that is something that you guys would be keen for, we'll see if we can push that into the schedule for the next couple of months.
So what we're seeing right now is the example of the withdraw X. Now this is not a new thing, so to speak. In the current bank, you've been able to right-click an item, type in withdraw X, and type a number. But then every time you want to withdraw that number, you have to right-click and then choose that number. But now with that interface, you'll notice I click on the X, I have to type in 10, and then I can just literally withdraw 10 of whatever I want there and then. So that was just a quick example of how much quicker you'll be able to do withdraw X in now, which should make you going through your bank a lot better. And then if we go on to the next one, if that's okay. This is the preset menu, and this is just a very simple GIF of being able to individually edit your presets without resaving them. So being the expert Telos player that I am, I decided to put in my advanced gold accumulator over my scrimshaw to help me with my extra DPS, just to show you that my preset can be updated there and then, and that literally just updates it there and then. So that's about as simple as it gets.
I'm getting an insight into what you do. This is really.
But it means
your
you don't have to.
presets are interesting.
Yeah, my presets are all over the place, and there's also some new preset names there as well with this update. So Big Game Hunter, I believe, is new. Anachronia is definitely new, and we also added a preset just called Loot as well.
I'm kind of. What's in your preset?
I don't know what's in my preset. It's a good question. I think that's my thieving preset, just called preset.
Oh, very stealthy.
So a very great name. So yeah, this is just to indicate, but also I should mention that in this update, the preset changes to come with it. For example, if I take out that preset right now with 6 doses of my brews, it will take out 5 doses if it can't detect any 6s, whereas in the current game, if you're out of 6 doses, it just withdraws the presets without any item at all. So it will actually try and replace it with a 5 dose or 4 dose or so on. So you kind of know exactly what's going on there, which is a nice update in its own right to presets as well. And then we're going to the next one. I'm just trying to keep it order. Okay, placeholders. I mean, it goes without saying. Probably should have zoomed in a bit more on the actual placeholder in there. So that's my bad. It is the cake icon. The cake icon has survived and will actually go with the full release.
Oh, you're kidding me?
It
really?
has. The cake icon is there. So you click on the cake icon. And you literally just withdraw any items. The moment it becomes out of your bank, it becomes a placeholder stack. So you don't have to interrupt your OCD-esque layouts of potions or armors and so on and so forth. And anytime you withdraw a preset, if it takes out the items for you, which it will do, it will leave behind placeholders by default as well. So it doesn't interrupt your layouts, because you don't want that, do you? But yeah, placeholder, as we know, was something players have wanted for a very, very long time. Old school, of course, I've had it, I think now 3+ years.
Yes.
At least.
Yeah, that's right.
So it feels good to finally get it from RuneScape. And it should be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's slightly harder to implement.
But do you lose the placeholder if you withdraw? You forget to change the mode. Yes, you will do. You will actually lose that mode. But if you withdraw an item without it being a placeholder, it leaves behind an empty slot, so you can easily put the item back in if needs be. So the bank doesn't compress anymore, and that means that you can either spam click withdraw all your items, or just close the bank and reopen it, and it'll reorganize all the layers, the rows for you. And then next up. A lot of talking. Oh, this is one of my favorites. This is just a filter. So in essence, if you want to see all of your worn equipment, in case you forget sometimes what they may be, you can literally just go into your little filter drop down, click on worn equipment, and it literally organizes them by categories for you. So if you want to see all your feet icons, objects, you can see them there. If you want to see all your helms, or your main hands, off hands, and so on, they're all there for you, which is pretty awesome. Should be very, very useful for your bank.
I saw one of the questions in the chat was, could we get a kind of value indicator for any of the given tabs?
I remember I asked about this when we first announced this, and I cannot give you the exact word for word answer.
It would be very expensive to draw that on open, certainly.
Yes.
So we could possibly do it GE price on an individual tab as a button, but I'd have to talk to
you. have to ask.
Yeah.
Mod Hunter, obviously, as developer for
I think he wants to escape the world of bank placeholders now. I think he's done this year.
Yeah, theoretically, you can literally have a bank full of placeholders if you so wish. You could literally fill up your bank with just placeholder icons if you really wanted to. If someone wants to fill up... Oh, as a note, actually, if you notice at the bottom of the screen when it appears, 1,320 slots, we've given you an extra 41 or 49, one of them. Bank slots are free. You don't have to pay anything for that. That's free. Comes with the update. It takes that total slots up to 1,320 because we had an odd number, so we wanted to make it even. So you get more bank slots for free with the update as well. And then we go on to the next one. I think it's another filter one. And yeah, this is just cleanup. So in the past, this was in an update within 2018 where we had the cleanup option, but it was quite, it would tell you what could be cleaned up. You couldn't really be efficient with it. But now, as you can see, I have my cleanup and I can literally just destroy these objects immediately, cleaning up bank space just like that. So if you want to swipe right through and clean up all that space very quickly, you can do that. You want to get rid of your nimble outfit like I'm doing, yeah, do that.
I'm finding this really soothing. I kind of want you to do a bank ASMR or something.
Yeah, it needs like a sort of lift elevator music over the top of it. Like.
Anyway, next up, if we can please. And this is the tabs, and you might notice that I have the tabs on the left side. So by doing this, where if you right-click on the infinity icon, you can now have your bank tabs on the left side of your interface, or keep it at the top. It's really up to you. So if you like the top side, keep it. If you want it to be on the left side to make a bit more space on the top row, then you can do that via the toggle.
You can imagine like mobile as well. Like
Yeah.
I prefer that by my thumb.
So yeah, you can totally do that if you don't want to. So I wanted to show you guys that in case, because it's somewhat hidden behind that button, I think. So I think it's useful to get that out for.
But we're defaulting top tabs, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Default top, because that's what everyone's used to.
Yeah.
F keys also work with presets as well, I should mention. So F1 to F10 will work for loading presets in your bank. So you don't have to do Control and 0 for preset 10. You can now do F10 if you so wish. And then if we go on to another one, next one, and this is just an image, but this is just to show that when you right-click your tabs, you can now customize them with an image. So right now in the game, every tab takes the first object and converts that into a tab icon. But now you can give them a lot more dedicated images. So if you want to have a tab dedicated to literal loot, you can choose the coin icon, and that's my loot tab, and give it a name as well. So you can kind of customize and say, actually, I want my bank tab to be the hunter tab, or my mining tab, and so on and so forth. So there's that as well, which is pretty awesome. And then finally, I think, is one more? No, there's no more. There we go. That's some of them. But I think patch notes wise, there's a lot more for you to all to read. But I've tried to choose ones which I think are quite impactful for what you will be doing on your day-to-day.
They've already been screen grabs of the patch notes, so you can just have a look.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And as mentioned, it does release next Monday. And so I'm pretty sure it didn't say 49 free presets. I swear it said free spaces or free bank spaces. So just to clarify that, because I see some people saying in chat, 49 free presets. No, 49 free spaces for your bank, not presets. And yeah, to your point, the team, amazing job.
Yes, yeah, because obviously this all rested on whether or not they could bang out the changes based on the latest beta, and they have. They worked really hard to get that done, so thank you so much for getting that into this month.
Alrighty, so let's go on. I mean, I can't wait for that to come out, because that means that we have a pretty awesome update just for RuneFest as well, so people can play that just before anyone who's going to RuneFest. And we'll go over to RuneFest as well. JD, I'm going to come over to you.
Yes.
So, 10 days now until RuneFest.
God. 10 days.
It is, it is literally 10 days.
Mod Shed is crying behind the...
So, how are we looking on RuneFest?
Really, really positive, really good, I think. So, in terms of the actual keynotes, I think we have probably the strong. I'm going to throw it out there. I think we've got one of.
You're going to say it again.
I was going to go for the superlative, but I think I might go for one of the most strong keynotes that we've had in a long, long time. There's a lot of exciting content in there for RuneScape and for Old School as well. But for RuneScape, I think we were planning on trying to make it about 45 minutes, and we're struggling at the moment to get it within an hour, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it. It might sprawl a little bit.
Does it matter?
No, I don't think so. I think that's.
If we have more to talk about, hell yeah!
I think it's a large proportion of why people come. I think like top reasons to meet each other, but the announcements is high up there. And what's good about it for me is that so much of it is like gameplay footage and stuff coming soon. It's not a kind of little speculative. Maybe it's going to come out, maybe it's not. It's almost literally getting your hands.
And in terms of like timelines and things like that as well, I think this year we've been a lot more kind of bullish about how we want to go about putting these into a timeline as well. Yeah,
I think we watched I watched the MCU timeline and got a little bit jealous of how good it was. So I'm going to announce Blade about, 3/4 of the hour in. But no, I think that's a nice way of doing it. We don't have to attribute dates, but there is a kind of an order and a general sense of when things are coming. Yeah. So people can feel a little bit more reassured that, all right, that's coming out when. on a certain date.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many other different things as well. I know in the game update on Monday we talked about a small change to schedule that we've made. So the lore Q&A is moving to the. Or are we calling it a Q&A? It is a Q&A, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an odd one because now it's moved to the main stage. Q&A isn't necessarily its main focus now.
Yeah.
So it's become a bit more showy. So all the lore hounds, let's move to a bigger area, and
it's always the most oversubscribed session in the panel stage anyway. So we thought, well, why not bring it up?
I'm going to read verbatim what the news post says, that way then it's absolutely dead set. So the lore Q&A will be moving to the 1 p.m. slot on the main stage, replacing the data stream, and at 4 p.m. on the panel stage, we'll be hosting a RuneScape annual surveys results session. Oh, that's very exciting.
Yeah, I thought so. Obviously, we didn't want to leave an empty spot in the schedule. That's not why people come to RuneFest. They want it to be packed and awesome. So we knew in the future that, that's really close. We knew that we were going to... It's been raining today. My hair's floppy. Anyway. And the shiny forehead. I've lost it. So we knew that we were going to do a live stream about, we wanted to reveal all of the results of the survey at a future live stream, but we thought, okay, it finishes on the 30th, the survey. Let's see if we can get some quick turnaround and get a session together talking about it.
It's quite tough, isn't it? Like, it's got like tens of thousands of replies.
I know.
Condense.
It's fine. We've got one person who's going to get that done. I don't know his mod name, so I can't apologise on it. Mod Searcher. Who's going to get that for us. But yeah, it means we can kind of deep dive about, first of all, what we assumed the answer would be, how that was completely wrong, and then what we're taking away and doing about it, which is really good, because there's been some crackers in there already. I may have had a sneak peek.
Yeah, I think some of the, I've seen a little bit, and I think
Can we do a little taster?
Yeah, go for it.
Is that right?
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
So, for example, like one of the questions was, how happy would you be moving skills up 5 levels at a time, a few levels at a time, and making sure those increments are packed? So, if we did a kind of a construction to 120, something like that, 1 week we'd do 105, and in 3 months' time we'd do a 110, then we'd do 115. Like, when we first talked about, because we talked about that when we were doing elite skills, actually, doing that as an implementation, doing it slowly like that, we just said no, nobody would agree with that. That'd be rejected, it's batching. But actually, like 80% or something similar to that, people thought it was a good idea. So that's kind of opened our eyes a little bit. It's also worth noting, actually, just in terms of time frame, we're going to give you results of the annual survey, but we won't have time to have implemented those changes into what we're announcing.
Yeah.
So it's going to have that weird thing where we'll find out things in the survey, but it won't reflect what's on the stage. So people have to keep that in mind. We'll mention that again on the day.
Yeah, I think that's definitely worth mentioning.
I think, as I say, I think it's worth noting that that's going to form the basis of how we look to do things.
The things beyond.
Beyond that,
the next step. Yeah. But it's good, looking good. Just dive into that. We'll be as free and frank as possible and get our Q&A questions thrown.
I mean, there's a really good run of RuneScape content. There is the survey, I think, and then it's the keynote, and then it's the post-keynote Q&A as well. So you've got a really juicy set of 3 hours on the
So panel stage 4 o'clock till 4:45 for the survey, into 5 p.m. on the main stage for the RuneScape keynote, back to panel stage for the reveal Q&A at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. So that's a really sort of meaty section of 3 hours that hopefully everybody will get something from.
Yes.
And I say, obviously, punctuated by the keynote as well.
Yeah. I know that our PR man wanted us to announce something, but I don't know whether or not to. What do you think? Yes. Should we do it?
It's your content. It's your content. I'll let
So one of the things we're going to be announcing in the RuneScape reveals is that there will be a new skill. So get you speculating on what that might be.
Sure
yeah.
I'm going to put the laptop away.
The team will be raging upstairs right now. But we're going to be talking about the new skill and what that is and why that's exciting.
Yes.
There we go.
Still not quite sure how we've managed to launch that now, but that's fine. Let's. I think, as I say, let's get the speculation going. There's a lot of stuff to at RuneFest that will be focusing around what that might entail.
Yes.
I'm trying not to give anything away.
I'm going to be honest, like, I do wish that had been kept in a sense,
Yeah, I know.
I think there's a massive, like, holy shit, like, it's a new skill, like, for me personally. So, that's why I'm like, oh, okay.
But we've got a big piece. We're very happy with it.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking in depth there.
Wow.
It's going to be really good.
I was not prepared for that.
You can see the
Laptop
shock on his
thrown out the
face.
window.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, hello, what's going on here?
We did coordinate as a Leeds team before it. Don't worry.
Right. Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, I'll be honest. Genuinely, first time in a long time, I've been shocked by like, whoa. Like,
First time I've ever seen Shawnee speechless.
You want a hug?
I think we're okay for no hugs at the moment. Just more shot. Well, there we go. RS General Q&A has turned into a rather significant announcement for you all for a rather mind-blowing RuneFest teaser. So there you go. Geez, okay, I'm trying to get myself back on track here. Our team. We got a little bit to say about the art team, have we not?
Yes. So at the event, this won't be streamed, unfortunately. There will be an art session on the panel stage, but they will be doing sort of PvP art battles at the event.
Wait, what?
So they'll be challenging. I think what the focus is that they'll be doing some stuff as artists. So they'll be doing some challenges against each other, but they'll also be doing challenges against you guys at home as well. Almost like, I suppose, like an elevated version of Pictionary, let's say that. And they will be doing that at the event. Really excited to see what kinds of things people come up with. And that's something, as I say, that will be just for people at the event, which is also really kind of, I think we don't do enough to sort of celebrate the art team. As a whole, we've done a few kind of live streams where we've gone over some of the content that we've done and how we've produced it from an art perspective. But I'd like to do more kind of those more in depth, how we got to where we've got to, kind of live streams and more kind of exposés of that sort of thing. So hopefully this is something that will give people who are hardened fans and people who are really interested in art sort of an insight as to how we go about doing things.
Excuse me. And obviously, of course, we have some perks for people who want to watch, but of course more perks if you decide to come to RuneFest.
Yeah, well, so we've got obviously, hopefully you guys who are in the Twitch chat are RuneScape users. If not, then head to the website and find out a little bit more about it and connect your Twitch account with your RuneScape account. But we will also have a exclusive RuneScape item for those people watching the live stream as well. And I will say no more on that.
There you go. Oh my goodness, my brain. So the schedule is on, the updated schedule is on RuneScape.com. It's under the Slayer Collection log news post, so you can definitely go on there, check out the updated schedule as of today, which is now confirmed for
Do you want me
RuneFest.
to try and recount it from memory?
I mean,
You
totally can.
Okay, so on the main stage we have the Great Gillenorian.
You didn't have to imply.
Yeah, I'll try and do it from memory,
Yeah,
and if I get it wrong, then you can correct me, Shawnee. We've got the Great Gillenorian Cook-Off, which is hopefully, if anybody's ever watched the programme Ready Steady Cook or Great British Bake Off, it's kind of a mix between the two of those, where we're going to get some creators on the stage with some of our staff, and we're going to do a challenge where they're going to try and create some dishes within 45 minutes, which is basically impossible. So you'll get to see some massive cooking fails, which should be fun. We have then got, and I'm failing already, the cosplay parade, where we'll be showing off some of the best cosplay, and we'll be giving the Golden Gnome Awards away.
The only day where we give out Golden Gnome on the Saturday.
Yes, yeah, because we've obviously got the Golden Gnomes on the Friday night this year, so we are kind of wrapping all that stuff up. I think we chose our community champion today, actually.
Okay.
So I'm going to be presenting that award.
I thought you were about to say it. I was like, wait, what?
two reveals in one live stream.
I was just like, what's going on?
So I'll be presenting that award. So I'm going to write the citation for it today when I get off the live stream. But then after the cosplay parade, we then have the lore Q&A. Shawnee, I'm looking at you here.
Correct.
Lore Q&A. Then we have the Old School Creators Q&A. Then we have the Mythbusters. And then we have a Ron Plays Games session.
Sorry, Mythbusters.
Oh yeah, because you've not really said much about Mythbusters.
Yeah, that's hopefully you may have seen on. I think we did it on Reddit and the forums. Tried to gather assumptions of RuneScape, Jagex, the JMods, and gather those together. We're going to answer them. So we're trying to keep as much spice in the questions as possible. We might have knocked a couple on the head, but a majority of them are very spicy. We've got some fantastic answers. So there'll be me, Modmark.
Answers or questions?
Well, it's kind of so they're delivered as an assumption, and we will do a kind of true or false. We will. Some of them are true false because they're definitely a mixture of the two, and we'll step up and give a nice little story about whether or not They were true or false.
I don't know if this has been removed. So, Dave, you're probably the best person to talk to this about. Was there one that involved the person sitting to the right of me?
What?
Wait a minute, I'm trying to think of the person sitting to the right.
As in this person.
Yeah.
As in me.
Yeah, there was a conspiracy theory that a player had about why we may have announced something that we shouldn't have.
What?
Something on screen. I'll just go say next gen.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so there's a conspiracy theory that was deliberate.
Right, so I put on the acting performance of my lifetime, yeah, when I genuinely thought I was going to lose my job. One of the worst days of my life, no joke, absolute pieces.
But there's great ones. There's like, his RuneScape HUD Code 4 was climbing boots a conspiracy and a scam.
No more.
There's some good stuff, juicy stuff. So try to guess whether they're true or false.
Yeah, then we got Ron Plays Games, which is a session where we get some of our creators on the stage and they do a quiz show, which for legal reasons is nothing like Family Fortunes or Family Feud. And we'll get them doing that. Then we'll have the two keynotes, so the RuneScape keynote and then the old school keynote.
Nailed that.
Yeah, so that's that one. And the panel stage is, panel stage we start with the another slice of wiki, which is where we'll get some of our wiki volunteers who are going to talk about.
I can't wait. I won't lie.
That's one of my. I'm really looking forward to that session. That's going to be one of my favourites because we don't normally get people to present who aren't members of staff. So I'm really interested to see what kind of they do with it and how they present what they do on a regular basis. Because the wiki is something that, as I say, I'm sure everybody's used at some point in their RuneScape or old school journey. So I'd like to see what questions they get and how they present what they do. And hopefully you guys can get involved in the wiki as well, because I think they're always in need of some more volunteers to help out with editing articles and stuff. Then we have the art section, which I believe they will be going over how to create a character.
Yeah, just actually bringing a creature to life.
Bringing a creature to life, that's the pithier way of putting it that I didn't say. Then we've got the story of old school and mobile, so how we got an MMO who was primarily on PC to mobile and how we launched it. Should also give a bit of useful insight as to perhaps how we've gone through the RuneScape mobile process to date as well. Also, then we have, I think it's So You Want to Be a Streamer, which is another creator session where we'll be we'll be asking some of our creators to give more information about how they got into streaming, different kind of tips and advice they can give to people who are interested in going into that kind of area. And then, Shawnee, you might need to help me out. I've kind of lost track of what time I am at this point.
Annual survey after that.
Annual survey, then the
Day in the life.
Day in the life for JMod, another really interesting session. If anybody's interested in working at Jagex, a little bit about sort of different areas of the business and what people who kind of come work here can expect to have from a particular role. And then we have the post reveals Q&A afterwards.
Yes. So you will undoubtedly have so many questions based on what you've seen at the RuneScape Reveals.
Yes.
Then if you're going to the event, pop in. If you're not, watch.
Yeah.
And you'll just find out. We'll dive into them a bit more.
I think we're still fine-tuning how we're going to be sourcing the questions, but I think there might be something app-related that we might be able to do in order to get questions from not just the guys at the event, but also some people from home as well. Yeah. So if you haven't already downloaded the RuneFest app, do so. There's going to be quite a lot of stuff on the day that's going to be focused around using the app. Yep. So get it in advance and sort of familiarise yourself with it beforehand. I believe you can get it on the RuneFest website.
Cool. I do want to make mention there is, of course, no month ahead in the month of October. So towards the end of obviously every month, we like to put out a month ahead. There is not going to be one for the month of October because, as is tradition, RuneFest normally covers that quite well for us.
Well, it'll be Golden Gnomes Night as well.
Oh yes, that's true.
So when we would have launched it, so I think we'll probably be onto other things at that point.
And there will be plans to put out kind of news posts because obviously there are things that RuneFest we're announcing that will sit in that period, so there'll be news posts to come out with.
Yeah, so what we want to try and do is we want to try and do a post that encompasses all of the updates kind of at a top level that are announced and then go into a little bit more detail about a couple of them that might require a little bit more explanation.
And someone said, is the exclusive item for watching the stream only, or is there...
Everyone who comes to the event will also get that item as well as another exclusive item.
Okay. Yeah. So they get an additional top. Cool. Okay, I'm going to grab some questions now. I'm going to grab some questions first on the bank placeholder stuff that we showed. Someone, Mr. TCX said, can we have more presets up to 15? Me and Mod Hunter had a stream a couple of months back where that was one of the first questions I asked him. So I had him on stream as a developer to kind of ask him the big questions like that. And basically, unfortunately, presets take up a lot of server load. So as it stands right now, we're going to stay with 10. But hopefully, of course, the additional bank slots should help in regards to giving an additional, of course, with all the optimizations to come with that update. Someone said, does an empty placeholder count against total bank space? Yes, it does. So in essence, you can literally have a full bank of placeholders if you so wish. And will there be an option to fill objects, pouches, or bags on preset? I don't believe there will be on preset. However, one thing I did forget to mention is the bank update has a preset update where when you resave your preset, because as a FYI, when this update launches, you should probably resave your augmentation presets, because the game will now be able to detect the actual augmentation you want to take out. So to give you an example, some people may have 2 of the same scrimshaw, and they want to take out a very specific scrimshaw with time remaining, or sorry, that's a bad example, a specific augmentation with certain perks and levels on there, but when they take that out, it takes out a duplicate because they have 2 of the same item. It will now take out the exact one they want. So that'll be pretty handy. So definitely something you should keep in mind there.
Quick question I just saw in the chat was about bank crashing. I believe that's a mobile thing.
That's being looked into right now.
I believe, fingers crossed, will be sorted well with the bank placeholders update. So fingers crossed on that one.
We've got an idea of what
I do actually have a PSA in regarding the bank. I forgot to mention this when we talked about it. When the bank update launches on Monday, you're not going to be able to get into the game for about 15 minutes. And the reason for that is because we're going to take a full backup of the entire servers. Because we're touching your banks and everything else, we want to make sure we have a full backup of everything, just in case, touch wood, that nothing goes wrong. So, yeah, that's pretty much a PSA for you. So when the update launches on that Monday, you won't be able to log in for a little bit of an extended amount of time, because we want to take a full backup of everything to make sure we have everything all good in case anything goes wrong.
That's really good, actually. I'd love it if we were able to do some of that stuff with some of the more intricate updates that we do moving forward as well.
Yeah. Small price to pay, isn't it? 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for making sure we have a full backup in case anything goes wrong. But some more questions. Let's just jump into it. Are there plans to revisit or rebalance unused equipment, for example, non-acto tank armor, crystal-attuned crystal armors, Dragon Rider armor, or gemstone armor?
So specifically, not any of those, but the joys of remasteries, we can go back and look at those. Like if we take the individual armors or the content that they come from and remaster them, then part of that job will be to make them viable again, valuable again.
Do you want to go over what a remaster is?
Very quick. I think people have heard it a bit ad nauseum, but the idea of a remaster is that we look at something older in the game but valued, and we can improve it from a quality of life perspective, graphical perspective, but also maybe add new challenges and new rewards to get off the back of it. So, that could be, we've had some in the survey, God Wars Dungeon remastered, Varrock remastered, Managing Miscellanea remastered. There are some good examples in there, but that's by no means the end of the list.
Cool. Are there any planned high-effort, high-reward, non-combat activities similar to Big Game Hunter in the future?
It was one of the hottest, one of the biggest topics in the annual survey. You've probably seen a fair few. So we had another skilling boss in there. We had a skilling and combat boss. The idea of that you could, be working either to each other's benefit or maybe competitively, probably cooperatively in some sense. We had Big Game. I wouldn't know that was Big Game Slayer. That was something else. But the idea of skilling dungeons as well. We like these ideas. I think Big Game Hunter has made it clear that there is an appetite for it. So yeah, it could well happen. But there's nothing actively being worked on.
So the good thing about having a laptop with me is that I can message certain mods if I see questions that come up in the chat. So someone asked about what's going on with Mod Shogun Stone Spirit stuff, so I just messaged him. And he very quickly got back to me to say that we are looking to release a blog on Stone Spirits. And it will also have a mention about how we're looking to improve getting invention components from smithing. So just an FYI for that one. No ETA on said blog, but there is a blog on the way.
Announcements coming left, right and centre today.
Localization, love it.
Do they?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they love it.
All right, next up. Are there any more plans? Sorry, are there plans for an alternative way to gain divination, energy and or charges?
Yes, actually.
Oh, okay.
So charges in particular, we're going to be, it's part of a bigger project. that we're going to be showcasing at RuneFest. But yeah, we're looking at ways of doing that. We've also got another thing coming out that will change the rate that you gain energy, but not necessarily the way you gain energy. So there is a little bit of that in there.
Awesome. Do you think titles as a reward are still relevant when there are hundreds of them in the game?
I mean, I think titles are still valuable as long as people understand what they are. So that's largely about the design of the title,
behind them,
the prestige behind them. As long as that's still communicable, but like obviously you can overdo it, and we should be wary of that because we still want them to be valuable. And the more you do, the more you challenge that. So yes, I still think they're valuable as long as you do them sparingly.
And are there any plans to add in hero items in the future, or is it a dead concept
Yes.
now? I believe the last one we added was Tavia's fishing rod, deep sea fishing. So yeah, it has been a little while.
We're working on content that's got a hero item. Yeah.
Awesome.
I saw a question about clue scroll drop rates for medium, for all of the different...
I worked with Timbo on doing the Masters, Timbo and Shogun.
I mean, the chances of getting...
Oh, the chances of dropping them?
Yeah.
Oh, ask Timbo, I imagine it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Should be fine to ask. Should be fine to do that. I've already just read that one. Here's a question we've already answered, but how confident are you in the bank rework coming out next week? Well, obviously, it's not, just clarify,
if
not
I had
bank
to put a
rework.
number on it. Right? Oh yeah, not bank rework, bank placeholders and improvements as the wonderful title strapline we've come up with.
Well, because obviously for bank rework, the association with that is, of course, meta tagging and the additional stuff that came with it. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly still on a backlog.
Okay.
It may well be done in the future, but I think that, as we said previously, it's just about lifting out the thing that was what people most wanted and giving it to them early.
Yeah. I saw there was a question, Shawnee. I don't know if it's in. I haven't seen it in the chat.
No,
but it was asked beforehand about different communication points that we have around. Obviously, we're on a lot of different platforms that we communicate with you guys on, and so we've got Discord, we've got Twitter, we've got our news posts, we've got forums, we've got Reddit, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. We've got a lot of different platforms, and one of the things that we're looking to do is work out how best we can use those platforms to make sure that everybody has the same amount of information. Yeah. Obviously, we want to try and prioritise the things that we own, so the website, the forums, and then kind of precipitate that down through the other different platforms that we have. But it is something that we are looking at how we can do perhaps slightly better. Obviously, we've got about 150 odd staff on Twitter as well. So just trying to corral everybody and make sure that everybody has access to the same amount of information is something that we really want to do as well. That was just a little bit of a side note, but I remember seeing that question.
No, it's a good point, because obviously sometimes we've kind of made top-line announcements on Reddit, even though we have RuneScape.com. So I feel like, we have our website, we have our forums. Yeah, if we post on our forums, it is still on RuneScape.com. It's a lot more official in that regard.
Yeah.
So it definitely makes sense for doing that. Another good thing about having the laptop is that sometimes when mods see questions, they message me saying this and this and this. So someone in chat, this is from moderator, someone in chat said that Big Game Hunter needs an XP boost. He has mentioned on Twitter already that Earns are going to work with Big Game Hunter very soon. No date on that yet, but also it's worth reiterating that the Luck of the Dwarfs was also going to increase your chance of getting a double or a trio spawn encounter as well. But as I mentioned, no ETA on that just yet.
A perfect example, actually, as well, of us talking about stuff on one platform and then not maybe mentioning it on another platform. So maybe, again, that's something that we can include in a more
put a little flag on it and say, hey, we need to do something about that.
Let's do something about that, yeah. So.
Okay, that makes sense. I know there was also I think it was Sebastian RS mentioned in the chat, like, why are we working on a new skill when we should be working on reworks? So obviously we did mining smithing start of the year. I think there are different appetites for different players. I think there are a lot of people, because it's been so long since we've done a skill as well.
January 2016.
There we go. So I think
month I joined.
Yeah, I know.
Surely remembers it well.
Both. We need to serve both. That doesn't mean that reworks aren't going to happen in the future by any means.
Someone in chat asked what the deal is with the Gold Gnomes dress code. Can you elaborate on that?
God.
That's reassuring.
I think the people who are presenting awards have a very specific dress code that I'm not going to go into at the moment. But as far as I'm aware, it's black tie optional. I'd love to see as many people dressed up as possible. It's like a proper award ceremony, because it is a proper award ceremony. We'll be rolling out the red carpet and everything. So we'd love to see everybody dressed up to the nines. Appreciate that's not for everybody, so that's why it's optional.
Don't worry, a large proportion of the JMods won't be dressed up to the nines, so you won't be alone if you don't. But we want to see it looking gala-ish.
Yeah.
Is there any news on the Dagonoth King's boss pet graphical rework which you polled?
Yes, so I don't know how many players are aware of that we do a large degree of outsourcing of certainly a lot of our artwork. So in this particular case with the Dagonoth King pets, which we haven't updated to match the new look of them, that is on an outsourcing backlog, so they're working their way through. Certain projects sometimes come in and bump those down a little bit, but yeah, we're still going to be doing it.
How many have we got more? Okay, we got 2 more on this, and then we'll try and grab anything else we can. When is Anachronia Batch 2 coming? Is it a quest about the island, a boss, anything?
You're not going to get me on what is being added to Anachronia, but Anachronia will grow.
There's a reason why the land mass is big, right?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. We love it. We want to do more with it. It's going to be the textbook wait until RuneFest. But
that's the first time we've said that in this live
it's not too
stream.
bad, this one. But okay, let's give something. There will be at least 2 things that connect into Anachronia that we're announcing.
There are plans to change how Elite, Tectonic and Serenic degrade. Is it still something that we can expect?
Quite proud of myself. This was only one of 2 that I had to go to somebody else to find out the answer for, since I found out I was on a general Q&A and the only one who could probably answer it. So I talked to Mod Orion, and like 70% of it is done. The development is done. It does need some testing. It needs him to do some changes based on some reproduction bugs that came through, but it's close, so he just needs to find some time to do it. He's working on a big project at the moment. When he's off that, then hopefully we'll give him some time.
I saw something in the chat about prayer dead clicks.
Yeah, it's been sent over, I can tell you that much. The prayer dead clicks are a bane of my life at the moment, honestly. Yeah, that issue itself, I can tell you I've sent over and tried to pester in the nicest way possible as you can be in my role. The right people in this. I imagine sometimes people get very annoyed with how much I pester them, but anyway. Yeah, that's sometimes part and parcel. I just want to take a step back. Can we quickly reiterate what we said at the start of the stream about MTX?
Yes, of course.
Because obviously
people arrive late.
Yeah.
Don't know necessarily it's going to be. Yeah, we made the decision that this would be a content stream. We wanted this. You know, we've produced a lot of good stuff in the past. Well, this week and next week. Maybe not before that, but you know, kind of in that we've just done Slayer Log. We want to talk about that, talk about how that came out, what with some of the data that came from that, and we're also got Bank Placeholders coming out next week, which is fantastic improvements. So rather than keep Sturm, cancel the live stream or anything like that, we really want to kind of keep talking about content. I want that to happen on our social channels as well, that our JMods feel comfortable doing that. And in terms of obviously we're super aware of everything, this swirl of criticism at the moment. We're not deaf to that at all. What we're doing is we're trying to make sure that we've got clear actions that we're going to make, rather than empty statements. And so we want to get those clear actions in order, but actions take far longer to coordinate, agree and get sign off on, and lots of teams are involved. So we're moving a bit like a super tanker on this one, a little bit slower, but it will happen, and that's going to be as soon as we can do it. It's not going to be long. I want to go to RuneFest completely happy that we can shout about what we're doing. So
the goal is to hopefully have something before RuneFest.
Yeah, exactly, but I can't commit to that. There's so many things that we need to agree. So something very, very soon. And in particular for me, I'm in charge of episodic content team, PO for them, and a lot of this is about the cadence of updates that we produce, and we're going to put lots of changes in so that this lack of content won't happen the same way.
Yeah, and we've got a design diary as well.
Oh yeah,
design diary.
Yeah. It was always the case, even before everything was kicking up a bit at the moment, that we were going to do a designer diary on our new live ops team, or handling a lot of our events and MTX work and things like that. That's still the case. So that'll be a real chance for us for 30, 45 minutes to dive into it a little bit more about the things that we are doing to kind of try out stuff. Like the new ways that we can maybe kind of move away from some of the stuff we don't want to do anymore, because we don't want to do them. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more depth.
Yeah, I could see Mod Shed in the background sort of wincing at the thought of another 30-minute video.
It was a one-taker though, we can do a one-take.
I loved it.
I just get sent stills of my face doing terrible things, that's all they do.
Staring at Dave as the
Someone correcting my weird face.
I'm joking.
Someone in the chat asked about the stack value bug. This is basically where when you kill a monster and then the loot appears, the stack value normally is meant to appear above the loot, but it appears in a random place. Yes, it is bugged. It is awaiting QA. It's fixed, just needs QA. I tried to look at that job very quickly to see where it was. E3 abilities in which during a Rax web trap, is that going to be fixed?
I didn't understand a word you just said.
The
Did you paraphrase?
ability, the eat-food ability basically not working during the Rax web track.
right,
Oh
okay.
my lord, trying to say that out for me, it's
That is quite
horrendous.
difficult, actually.
Oh, when
Dr. Seuss book.
you're tongue-tied, it's very difficult sometimes to try and say.
tongue-tied?
I'm tongue-tied, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh wow.
No breastfeeding for you.
Nice. Will it be
Another revelation.
Wow, that's a line out of nowhere. Anyway, so yeah, I think in regards to everything else, I've tried to cover as much as we can. Obviously, as a reminder, Bank Placeholders and improvements release next Monday. So that'll be a big update in its own right to finally have placeholders in the game. When will the tag info bug be fixed? Been broken for 1.5 years now. That bug is in Jira. I can tell you that for a fact. I can pester again. I will pester again as well.
You're the master of feeling like it's ending a stream.
Yeah.
And then pulling something up. It's like Return of the King. It's like, there's another ending happening.
We're going to get you finished. No, we're not going to give you that.
It's good though. I mean, it's good that we're answering questions.
I always do that. It's just a force habit. I'm on a roll, but I see something and I'm like, oh wait. But yeah, obviously as I mentioned as well, RuneScape will fire at the end of the stream, and then of course we have a stream next week, and then we have we're gonna have technically two RuneScapes then on RuneFest weekend, correct? Friday, Saturday.
That's current. Yeah, that is the plan.
I believe so. Cool.
Yeah, that's what we've been working
Double
on.
And they should.
RuneScape.
We're going to try and make it work so that they work for both the main stage stream and also the. We haven't mentioned this actually so far, but we will be. Sorry, I'm going back to the. We're not going to let you leave yet. We're going to be streaming the panel stage as well.
Yes.
And the plan will be that RuneScape will be enabled on both of those. So if you just want to stay on the panel stage all day, if you want to stay on the main stage all day, you still get the same.
We'll double screen it.
Cool.
Double screen it.
Okay, right, everyone. I'm gonna say we're gonna get ready to wrap up there, but as Models mentioned, we're gonna endeavour to do as much as we can to try and get information out to you that you guys want to have, obviously prior to RuneFest. Whether that means it comes out, whatever, because we can't give you a date yet, but we'll try at the very least.
Yeah.
So.
I can just see somebody's clip. No breastfeeding for you.
Oh yeah, you can just see the clip there. Although you got timed out by Moonbox as a link, but it's a bit unfortunate. Someone said, is there any news about RuneScape Mobile? When will it be launched? I presume there'll be mobile news at RuneFest.
We'd be remiss not to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we'll have to leave it there, everyone. Out of the blue, you may have, if you missed it midway through the stream, there was a rather significant announcement that took place. There is a new skill.
I'm now going to go up to my computer and just email my whole team about what we just announced.
On the way.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, very much out of the blue, but you never know what happens in these streams, do you? So yeah, I think that'll wrap it up here, and we're going to get ready to get out of here and keep an eye on all the posts and reply to everything where we can. So unless there's anything you guys want to say.
Nope.
Cool.
Me.
All right.
Oh, get your RuneFest tickets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've only got final few left, right?
Yes. Yeah. Final few left.
Literally final views. All right, so that'll do it. So again, as always, we'll see you next week for our next stream as per usual, and of course on Monday for the big Bank Improvements and Placeholders update. We cannot wait to release it. Thank you again, everyone. Take care and have a good one.